Okay, let me explain a little bit about this bear hunt. Right here, this yellow building is a house. Greenhouse, some outbuildings, little garden. This little spot right there in between them two flowers, or whatever the hell they are, witch's broom. It's where the two piles of bear shit are. My bear cams are right by that cottonwood tree that is changing colors. This line of Russian olives right back here that's all crushed, that's from bears. The initial bear track that I came out here for was right by this post with the white PVC pipe on it. So the story on this place is there was a guy that highly intelligent. He was an engineer, and so he came in, he built the place, and used to be hell of a nice place. These fields were all it was a sod farm, so he grew grass and then he would cut it and ship it off and send it to places that sold sod. Anyhow, nobody had seen him for a couple of days, and he had a heart attack right down here by this creek. And so then some people figured out that it was vacant, and they moved in and basically used the place, did no upkeep because, well, they figured they were getting kicked out anyway, so why worry about it, just destroy it. It's a little over 80 acres. The lady right up here above, she's got 50 acres. And then where I hunt turkeys is directly on the other side of this slide. So I kind of have a triangulation pattern. Triangulation. There, we learned how to English for the day. So anyway, I don't remember what tree this is. I think this is a plum tree. Right here, pear tree. Hopefully those pears show up. I tried to eat one and they were pretty good. This is asparagus. This is bear shit. That is the house. If you guys remember that black bear footage I got, it was right here. Right here's my game cam. So I'm really not a bear hunter. A lot of times I will help out my friends that have animals coming in that are a problem. And so that is kind of the story on how I ended up bear hunting. Never ate bear. Couldn't tell you if it's any good. I know I've watched about 1 million videos on how to cook bear. But September 1st, I had a deer tag open with bears, and the only reason I haven't shot a deer is simply because I didn't want to spook out the bears. But this goes all the way down all the way around that hillside, then it goes up on top, all of that. And so it's not like I don't have room. I watched one hell of a nice buck this morning. And so anyhow, this place used to be really, really nice. And like I say, some shit bags came in. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised they didn't gut the house and get the copper out of it for so they could get meth. But I know what I would like to do is, but I've got a pickup, so that makes it a little different. I would like to get that equipment running, and then right up here there's a bank, and the guy had dug out a little settling pond. What would happen is when it would rain and those hills would rush out or wash out, then that little holding pond, all of it diverted into that. The mud settled, the water came to the top, and then the water went ahead and ran off. But what I would do is I would work a deal out with Michelle, the lady that owns it, and tell her, look, because she wants to move over here. She's a veterinarian in Boulder, and I just kind of happened to luck out and stumble into being able to hunt here. But I would try to make a deal with her to where caretake it and haul all this shit off, get the place all cleaned up. All of this is from them tweakers. I hate tweakers. Fucking can't stand, I can't stand drug addicts, but that's a whole different rant. Then I would trim out all these dead trees and just try to fix the place up to where it looked good. And then the only thing is, I wouldn't pay her to live here to do it. And so I would not have I wouldn't have a problem working on it and helping get it all cleaned up and try to get it back into some kind of livability. I mean, it's not that it ain't livable. The house is in pretty good shape still. It's just, it's been let go for so long, it's just run down. And, I mean, got those two big solar panels. Right here's the power supply. So the house runs on solar with electric backup. I would try to get that going to where I had some kind of a storage to where those solar panels could go into a battery bank. That way I didn't have to kick on that electricity. But anyhow, there was, like I say, there was a hell of a nice buck right here this morning. And so we've got until Friday. Today's Wednesday 28th, I think. And we have until Friday to get bears. But September 1st, I had a doe tag open the same day as bear season. And so just when I thought I had a little bit of a break, I was looking at tags this morning. I got a bear tag, deer tag, deer tag. I got two deer tags. I got a doe tag and a buck tag. My deer tags are both leftover private land. And then an elk tag. So I was looking at my bear tag to see if it was a rollover tag. And in Colorado, if you get a rollover tag, a lot of times what'll happen is you'll buy a tag, and if you don't fill it during your season, as long as another season is open, then that tag will roll into the next, until, if you don't fill it in a couple of seasons, it's kind of one of those things. But I can understand now. This is what was it, 2 years ago was the first time I ever bought a bear tag. I used to buy them when you could get them. Well, you can buy a bear tag over the counter with your elk tag. I used to buy a bear tag, and then I would, if I seen one, basically it was just buy a bear tag because we could, and then hunt elk. And I was always more worried about my elk than I was a bear. And then they started this rollover thing to where, depending on what tag it is, sometimes they'll put a rollover on it. And what that means is, okay, we have this bear season, and then if we don't get one this season, as long as you have a tag, no, that ain't right. As long as there is a season open, then you can go out and still try to fill your tag. But I haven't had one of those tags in a long time. I know with the youth tags, if you get a youth cow elk tag, then that tag will roll over, and they can end up hunting all the way into February. But just kind of wanted to show the place and kind of give a heads up as to why, well, basically, why am I sitting almost in the, well, I am sitting in the yard of the house, but up here too, that bank is 267 yards. Over here to where the bear was the first night I was out here, that is 468. So shooting a 7 mag, sitting right here, I don't even have to move. All I have to do, grab my shooting stick, grab the land cannon, and pray to God that doofy ass dog doesn't decide that she's going into hunt mode or something after that. So this is kind of how I got set up. Anything that drops into Merriam's, where those dead trees start, that is Merriam's. I don't know if the willows will show up, but from that draw, the next draw over that's green, that still isn't out of range. And if I seen something coming off the top there, then what I would do is I would just go ahead and cut right through here, come by the pond. These dead trees right here, that is a little pond. And then I would just kind of angle back over that way if I needed to be closer. But with the rangefinders these days, this is a Leopold. I think it's 1,400 yards. It'll go to 16 or 18, depending on the reflectivity. So I just kind of figured this is about as good a spot to set up as any. Last night, on the other side of this, there were a couple of bears in the Russian olives, and somebody went out and shot, and the bears came up. So I'm kind of hoping they settled in right here, and then they can come back down in here. All they do is just make a big circle and come in. And these Russian olives are full, so it's not like there isn't food. Then on the other side of that pond, it's nice grass. It's not weedy like this, but it's set up pretty good. I think if I could get this place, if I was to buy this place, I would plow all this up, plant orchard grass, and then I would put an orchard in right here. Put about 100 or so apple trees in here, and I think that would be a hell of a deal. So anyway, that is this setup. And I realize that it isn't like I'm up on top of the mountain scouting and all of that, but the patterns are still the same. Up on top, there's a private elk herd, and then back in here, well, shit, all over, there's cattle. But when they killed all of her chickens, and then with them getting as close as they are to this place, it's kind of a situation where before somebody gets hurt, go ahead and take a bear out. So anyway, hopefully that kind of gives a little bit better idea of what I'm getting into. There are no high fences. Everything I do is fair chase. I cannot stand the private elk ranches. Pisses me off. I don't think that those animals should be, I mean, if they want to supply restaurants and stuff like that, fine. But what pisses me off is when you're watching YouTube and you come across one of these channels and it's like, hey, wait a minute, I know exactly where that is. That's a canned hunt, and you're pushing it off as fair chase? Yeah, that's horse shit. So, anyhow, that's enough about that. So that's what I've been doing from about 6:45 in the morning. And that's only because I got to take the kid to work and drop him off. Till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Go home, cook dinner, go to sleep, and do the same thing all over the next day. Alright. Something's got to move. If anything changes, I will keep you updated. Other than that, catch you on the next one.